Good morning, my friends, wherever you may be in the world today. Alan Clements here from Blessed Ubud, Bali. Can't believe that I'm here. Deep in nature, June 16th, 2022. Hope you're well wherever you may be. Deep in nature with the birds and the doves, the lizards and the snakes and the spiders and the scorpions and the rats and the flowers and the orchids and the papayas, the mangoes, all of it. Planet Earth. My heart to yours. Today's sharing this Buddhist Pali word, Sanvega. And complex word, but beautiful. A liberating, urgent passion with purpose. Like, you know, you're enthralled with the vocation of your raison d'etre. That very unique sense of longing and yearning and the ferocity of addiction, but a wise sensibility about it. You know, you're not driven in the myopic sense for the line of cocaine or for the nicotine or the next so-called cliched hit. But yeah, you have a why that's just moving through your veins and your body. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. There are those yogis, those mothers, those lovers, those meditators, those creative artists that live to breathe, to thrive, to wake up, to make good on the promise of something. Pause right there. Are you making good on the promise of something in your life? It's so easy to curse the inequities, the wrongnesses, the injustices. There's a certain passion in the crucifixion of other. So people get off on anger and judgment. They make a lifestyle of it, most people. But then there's that very rare form of heart art, Dharma awake, nuanced, poetic, where you're in agreement with your best and your most beautiful. And it's not easy a lot of the time to fall in awakening, fall in love, to elevate this creative status of your soul, the holiness of your own chosen vocation. It's like the opposite of betrayal. We've all been there. We've gone up close and it, oh my God, how could this be a betrayal? But to betray oneself, that's the opposite of Sanvega. It's the deep romanticizing, the deep, safe, elegant eroticizing of your good, your true, your beautiful, but with creative application. I've gone off the spiritual rails. I'm more into Dharma art, spoken word poetry, crazy hip-hop anti-rhymes that don't make any sense except if you really feel into them on a more psychedelic level of just kind of opening more than just your heart, your soul to your vocation. The best kept secret in this world, don't work, live. Oh, you need this, you need that. You can't do it without, you need a mentor, blah, blah, blah. You can't do. The chorus of mediocrity out there. Control freaks. You can't be who you want to be because you stutter, because you're not that skilled, you're not that talented, you don't bat properly, you don't throw the ball properly, you don't screw properly, you don't look properly, you don't have the right teeth, the right breasts, the right yoni. You just don't do it right. So just back down and live in your suburb of nothingness, right? So much of that BS is out there and it's inherited in our blood and our DNA. But Sanvega is a liberating, passionate application of coming to terms with what is it that you want to be? What do you want to do? Who do you want to see yourself become and live in the poetic apprenticeship, if you will, self-apprenticeship to that intuitive place. Let me pause right there. Normally we think of apprenticeship and mentoring with other, which is beautiful, right? But many of us live more and more in the, I want to use the word elegant autonomy, the kind of anarchistic autonomy of listening and being guided, if you will. I know this is kind of cliched, but that deep inner voice called, yes, you can be misguided by intuition, but that deep sense of deeper than intuition, that you know that you must believe it, even if it's a mistake, because therein lies where you discern and you learn from who you really believe yourself to be. You act, you think, and you speak from that intuitive sense of what's true and right and real and raw and authentic, and it aligns with my loyalty to ethics and to the loyalty to integrity. I'm listening to myself, self-apprenticeship. And there's something beautiful about that. Right now I'm just being guided. I'm here in Bali to write and script and to feel into this 7-part film, Raw War, and it's coming to me. It's being streamlined. It's a spoken word piece of 7 installations. It's a kind of solo cinematic art, heart, Dharma exhibition, if you will, just inviting the world through this singular viewership of a medium called the digital, the flat screen. And I have something to say and communicate. It's revolutionary in my own humble way. It's in support of Aung San Suu Kyi, the freedom fighters in Burma, the boys and girls around the world right now fighting to throw off the mask of obedience and to live in a higher fidelity to the application of universal human rights. All beings are born in dignity and in conscience and are entitled to live a life free of fear and free of need. What's so complicated about that, except people get overcome by toxic lobha, extreme greed. It's so straight up. You're just a greedy leader, Mr. Xi Jinping, driven by a pathological narcissism. Okay, I too could have had that. So what that you had bad upbringing? You had role models like Mao Zedong that took pride in decimating the Tibetan people with 2.5 million genocidal deaths. Is that really possible? How could a human mind think that that was right? And so when we think about Sanvega, coupling this passionate, liberating, urgent application of the vocation of self-apprenticing to the loyalty of conscience and dignity and universal human rights, hear me, the artistry of applying global human rights and environmental rights and animal rights and non-human rights, the application of a liberating urgency to snap out of the conditioned complacency of obedience to diabolical forces within consciousness, greed, anger, and delusion, and to creatively manifest the divine, the sacred, the feminine in every man and woman in the world, I think, although some act as if they don't, have nonviolence and the comfort with their own integrity. But Dharma art is waking up out of the complacency of stress and anxiety and fear and feeling that you've been narrowed by society. Think, you know, I'm really stretching here to go into my projected Anne Frank, you know. She kept it alive. She kept it alive. My friends in Burma who are in the gulags of these dungeons, these Orwellian torture chambers, being starved and forced to drink toilet water while the world fucking masturbates. It's an outrage, but how do you channel that outrage? It's Sanvega. Otherwise, the opposite of Sanvega is obedience to rage. We know where that leads, to leadership and to the killing of innocent people in Yemen, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan. It's happened for a reason, toxic conditioning. And so I'm getting really close in here. We're all part of the human consciousness game. And those who understand the components of consciousness, the spectrum of consciousness, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the same thing. Who knows love versus greed? Who knows generosity versus attachment? Who knows the power of feminine-inspired nonviolent dialogue over the complicity with the conditioned violence of denigration? Who knows peace over war? Do we want our children to inherit a world that is crisp and burnt with nuclear war, that's created an uninhabitable planet for hundreds of thousands and millions of years? Here we see in the media every day bioweapons, chemical weapons, nuclear weapons, idiot weapons. And it's just the opposite of Sanvega. It's the trans-religious, post-spiritual energy of waking up with a sense of, okay, yeah, it's tough. There are limits. There could be more. That's been true throughout history. And within it, I'm going to put on my best emotional and psychological and intellectual and creative and entrepreneurial outfit. And I am going to dance on the stage of my own humble existence, in my job, in my work, in my family unit, in my community, in my state, in my country, in my whatever I do. And I'm going to do it so well that it inspires a momentum upward of me listening more carefully to the nuances of the artistry of making life a liberating dance of overcoming apathy, obedience, fear, stress, anxiety, greed, anger, shame, delusion, and bringing the color spectrum of hope, of compassion, of loving kindness, of generosity. Just think of what you could do today in your own respective religion, that you made the determination that at some point today, you would choose to give something valuable, whether it be your time, a sacred object, some kind of gift, a telephone call, a text, an image, a photograph, a hand on the back or the body in an old age assisted living home where you just simply go in and ask the people there, may I just simply visit someone whom doesn't normally get a visitor? I would just simply like to share a moment of humanity with this person and just the gift of a smile. I mean, how beautiful can it be if we empower this quality of Sanvega, of a liberating, passionate urgency. I'm going to close here. Today's a special day for me. And some months back, I brought out of the historical basement of previous projects a long poem that I had written way back in the day. And it turned into a book that was just made public today on all the online booksellers, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and various other ones around the world. It's a children's book that I wrote that's dedicated to my beloved daughter, Sarabella, 15, and to the children in the world, and equally to the child. I'm really down with children. Equally to the child, I feel, in each of us. It's there, symbolic of innocence, of openness, of adventure, of wonderment, of play, of all the various things that come with how easy it is to smile as a child, how easy it is to feel imagination, how beautiful it is to have a fairy tale read to you and to feel into those images on a page with a parent or a friend, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a teacher who shares the magnificence of the tale. I wrote a book called Tonight I Met a Deva, and Deva is a Pali word that's really at the soul of the word Sanvega. It's the word for angel in Buddhist Pali. And Sanvega, to me, the driving soul, the oxygen of this liberating, urgent passion to be the creative savant of your life and to listen to your pre-intuitive wisdom, this Deva, it's really the voice of the angel in you, the fairy tale, the imagination, the quality of wonderment, of awe, of spectacle, of entelechy, the deepest existential raison d'etre of the heart that is so beautifully innocent and cool and creative that you have this Deva voice in you that always feels safe, protected, aligned, and elevated by this Deva, this angel animating your Sanvega. Two basic qualities of consciousness. Deva Chaitasika, the Deva Chaitasikas of consciousness, the qualities of angelic presence in the mind of every human and probably every animal and every spectacle in this cosmos. And the state of mind known as Sanvega, not anxiety-driven urgency, but creative, eroticized play. That no matter what age you are, no matter what the circumstances, you rise up and you take hold of that state and go, you know, it's never too late. I will never give up. I'm going to apply my most beautiful Deva-driven Sanvega mind to this moment in the way that I simply wash my face. My friend U Win Tin spent 19 years in solitary confinement in Burma. This is an extreme example. He was the country's leading journalist, a prolific author, and founded the National League for Democracy with Daw Aung San Suu Kyi and other notable people in Burma back in the day. He spent 19 years in solitary. I interviewed him before he passed away 5 separate occasions. He's featured in our books, Burma's Voices of Freedom, that were brought forth by my colleague and my friend, co-author Fergus Harlow and myself. U Win Tin is an epic example of Deva-driven Sanvega under the most extreme conditions. He had his teeth broken when he was tortured. They were never fixed for 19 years. Crushed. No bed, not uncommon for political prisoners. No bed, no pillow, no blanket, no mosquito net, I don't know about you. Oh, my phone is here. My computer's here. No phone. He had no computer, no pen. He's a prolific writer, a journalist. My tools, these are my hands. These are my life. Imagine not having your phone for a day, an hour, a minute. Addiction. Oh my God, every moment a new crisis. Oh my God, a new moment. Oh my God. We've all seen the social dilemma. It's an existential dilemma to be without. And there he is for 19 years, and he's a freedom fighter. But he uses the power of Deva-driven Sanvega both as fight and as victory. And he told me repeatedly in his own humble way, when he was released from prison, he refused to take off his blue shirt, which is the prison uniform given to prisoners. He gave away his home and all of his contracts for his books to the families of political prisoners who were still imprisoned, whom had no income. He started a foundation and let the royalties of those things go to the foundation to be given to the families of political prisoners to help support them in their greatest moment of need. Deva-driven Sanvega, the urgency to help other people, the liberating force of generosity. How rad is that? How beautiful is that? What a gift that is to give oneself and to others, right? How many people I've seen over the years who have so much, who do not have dignity, who do not have the power of the religious experience of the holy to reflect upon their life, their family with awe and with grace. They're uneasy in their souls with all of what they have. Do not place your wealth where dust and rust and shame doth corrupt. Place it in the loyalty to timeless values. Right now, we're at war. People want to discriminate. They want to desecrate the universal Declaration of Human Rights. They want to kill freedom. It's a global war on liberty. Freedom of speech is not just being censored, it's being annihilated. Mask up over your face, over your conscience, over your brain, over your thinking processes. And even then, the misinformation, the propaganda, the mind control of the apparatus of the global elitists, corporate machinery of global tyranny into our ear, eye, and phone, computers, and our lives every single minute of every single day. The onslaught of that tyranny. Our job is Deva Infused Sanvega that refuses to participate in the contraband of obedience to lies, deceit, conformity, and false democracies, aka totalitarianism in the form of a smile of liberty. No. Uwin Tin, I drew strength from my conviction in knowing I was right. Right in the radiance to Deva Infused Sanvega. I can't imagine what it would be like to just roll around on a dirty dungeon floor for an hour or a day. The despair that would set in for me. And I look around in the magnificence of this beautiful place and how easy it is to fall victim to the conditioning of your own self-doubt. And Uwin Tin, he would take chalk off of the wall from the broken bricks and slowly, slowly powder it. And with the little water that he would have in his prison cell, he would make a little bit of chalk. And slowly, slowly, he told me over the months, he would write words and poems. And he wrote the word on his wall, freedom. That's so rad. What a Bible that is. Freedom. Living in the Deva Infused Sanvega of a liberating passion. As monks and nuns, we were encouraged, the way you move your arm, are you infusing it with Deva-inspired Sanvega, an urgency to be so present in the artistry of feeling. Just the art of feeling, that religion of feeling, feeling the emotionality of our own purity rightly. Isn't that the cathedral of integrity? So, I will continue tomorrow, God willing. Thank you for being in my life. I've gone from mild-mannered, semi-poetic hymns to moderately crazy rants, mystical, existential, political. I'm getting into, on a personal level, the desire to live and emote and to feel and to touch and to believe in tomorrow, to break the coma of now, to put onto the horizon splendid little bright lights of hope and possibility and meetings and fortuitous arisings of intimate connections and the possibilities of who knows what, from love to eroticism, to romance, to art, to poetry, to film, to books, to literature, to music. All the ways in which we can create a future to believe in, Alan Clements. I'm having to walk my own existential emotional talk by putting on the horizon hope, patterns of hope, ships of hope, to give me a reason to live, because it's easy for me to fall right down into the victimhood of mortality and prediction of discontinuity. I wrote a book called Tonight I Met a Deva, an Angel of Love. It's on Amazon. It's now been released. I wrote it for my beloved daughter and for the children in the world and the about to be born, those girls out there, those women out there who are seeking to conceive, who live in the eternal, beautiful womb of infinite possibility. For the children in each of us, no matter how young or old. Mr. Putin, come home to your innocence, my friend. Mr. Biden, come home to your primordial child back in the day when you were safe and not driven by forever war, pornography. Open up your child, human beings, and give the future of life a chance to breathe. So please tell your friends about this book. It's for adults. It's for children. If you want to translate it, reach out to me. And from my heart to yours, have a beautiful day. Thank you for being in my life. And hope to see you tomorrow in the morning here from Ubud, Bali. Thank you.